We're back. Welcome to season two of Shane Talks. Yeah, I know. The last episode, episode 99, I was crying. I was like, this is the end. It's all done. It's all over. And of course, there was a lot of people that came to me and they were like, Shane, we know you're not done. We know you're going to, eventually bring Shane Talks back. And I was like, nah, I think we're done. I think we're done. And then this summer I had an idea, a concept, a thing I threw out there and got some good feedback on it. So I was like, you know what? Let's do season two. And Jason, it's not going to be the same without you on every single episode. I'm sad about that, but I know you've got a lot going on in your world right now. So this new format, the season two format, is just going to be me and one other person, and we're just going to be talking about one movie. We're not doing any of the shticks. We're not doing any of the Mount Rushmores. We're not doing any of the lists. We're not doing what you've seen recently. We're not doing any of that kind of stuff. We are going to get one person on here. We're going to focus on one movie, and we're going to talk about that in depth. And so there's nobody else I would rather have as my first guest on season two than the man that just did 99-ish episodes with me, Mr. Jason L. Maier. It's been 7 months since we recorded together, my friend. How are you?
I'm wonderful, sir. How are you?
I'm hanging in there, man. I'm very happy to be back recording with you and very happy to do the first episode of season two with you. So thank you for making the time for that. Are
Absolutely.
you ready to tell me about the when I came to you and I said pick one movie that you want to talk about? Why don't you tell me what movie you decided to pick?
Well, I mean, come on. There's lots of ones that you can go with. You can go with your all-time favorite. You can go with your best movie-going experience. You can go with one that your first memory of it as your first movie that you can remember as a child. You can something significant, after a severe breakup, or the first one that you went and saw with your significant other or something like that. I decided to go with Serenity by
Oh, very
Joss
nice,
Whedon.
very nice.
So,
Joss Whedon's 2005 film. So my first question, the first way we're going to start this season two format is is Serenity your all-time favorite movie? And if it's not, what is your all-time favorite movie?
oh, come on. We've done enough Shane Talks episodes. You know what's going on. So,
I
no, it's
do.
not my favorite all-time film. My all-time favorite film is Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope. And I decided to talk about this film because we've talked about Star Wars enough. But on top of that, the amazingness that you were the what's the word I'm gonna look for here? You
I
were
don't know.
the you it was the genesis from your idea, um, but I just completed getting my
Ah,
ninth
yes.
autograph on my Serenity poster. So now I have
Yes.
all of the crew of Serenity on the movie poster. So
Awesome. Yeah, and we will definitely talk more about that, down the road on the podcast. But so like, do you remember, and I'm actually, in my narcissistic way looking forward to this answer. Do you remember the first time you watched Serenity?
I do.
Where were you at? What happened?
I was at Clearwater, the Crossing, 12. It was an employee sneak preview of the movie. And yeah, it was while I was managing the theater. I think I took three different, I think I took all three of the posters, or I took two out of the three I know for a fact. But I want to say one of my friends, and I can't remember if it was you or not, somebody didn't get one from their theater at some point in time. So I ended up giving my second one to somebody because it meant a lot to them. So it might have been you or it might have been Justin Rochelle, but I can't remember. But I gave my second. I know I got two from the theater,
You're
and
talking
I
about two of the same poster?
yeah, two of the
Okay,
same.
because I was gonna say I have the same poster that you have. I just don't remember. If you did give it to me, I don't remember you doing that, and I'm sorry. But I know I was at that screening that you were at, your employee screening you invited me to, because I was. You might have had to give it to me. I don't know if I was working at a theater at that point.
Yeah,
I
so
could
I
be.
would have been 24 at this point in time when it came out. Um, super, super excited. Uh, yeah, and so yeah, I might have given it to you. I don't know
Yeah, it
who
might
I
have been
gave it
me.
to, but hey, I have one poster. It's signed.
Yeah. That
And
is awesome.
like I
Like that,
said, you were definitely the genesis of that because at one point in time you were like, dude, could you imagine getting all of their autographs on here? And I was like, that's a really good idea. And then I made it happen.
you did, and like I
So,
said, that we've definitely got that on the script to talk about down the road a little bit. But I mean, that's an amazing story. There's lots of great stories that you're going to tell in relationship to that poster. But why don't you, while we're still on the topic of your first time that you watched the movie, why don't you talk a little bit about what we did for the weeks leading up to the release of Serenity?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So a bunch of people were I was talking up this movie at work. A lot of people had not seen it because Serenity's based on the television show Firefly, which was only on Fox for like half a season. And then it got canned before they even showed all the episodes. But I was talking about Firefly and how much I enjoyed it, and I was late to the party. I went to a Joss Whedon Q&A. I want to say that it was in '04. Is that the second time we all went? Or no, I don't think you went with me
No,
on that one.
yeah, I wouldn't have gone in '04. I went
No.
in like 2000 and 2001.
I think we went again in '04 because
So,
Joss Whedon showed us a teaser.
is that the
So
same year that you got Titan AE signed?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I
So,
wasn't with you that trip.
yeah, because he was like the maid of, or like the not the maid of honor. He was the guest of honor for Wizard World. And so we went and I was in line to go to his Q&A. And actually no, I got Titan AE signed the first time we went.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Because the second time I was like, oh, I'm gonna get something else signed, and I was super excited. And then they were doing the lottery system at that point, where it was like
Oh,
you had to go wait in line to hopefully get a ticket so that you could go get in line to get his autograph. And by the time I even got into the building, because of the fact that I bought like a regular ticket instead of one of the special edition tickets to
uh,
get me in earlier, like the line to get Joss Whedon tickets for the lottery was like ridiculously long.
man, that sucks.
So I signed, but yeah, he got my Titan AE poster signed in 2000. But then so we were there again. And like I said, I think it was '04, and we were talking to I went to a Q&A, and I was just like, because I love him from doing Buffy and Angel. So I was like, oh, let me go walk be in his Q&A again. At least I'll do that this time. So I'm in line waiting to get into his Q&A, and ended up talking to other Buffy nerds. And at one point in time, somebody was like, "Oh, you got to get into." They were like, "Have you watched Firefly?" And I was like, "Oh, I tried. I didn't like it. I watched the first episode. It felt very disjointed." And they were like, "Oh, no, no, no! You need to watch the thing. Oh, just start it. Just get the DVDs. Watch them. Watch it all the way through. You're gonna love this show." And I was like, "No, there's no way that I'm gonna like this show. I already tried." They were like, give it another shot. So, speaking of which, so the movie poster comes. I hang up the movie poster. I'm super excited about the movie poster. And I'm telling everybody about how great this is because I have gotten into Firefly by the point in time this is rolling around. So this is like summer of 2005.
Yep.
Super excited, getting all pumped for it. And then one of the guys who works for us, his name was Paul. He got soup. He was excited. He was also a brown coat, and we figured out that we could run the project. We could get a digital projector from his house that he owned, bring
Mhm.
it into the theater, and then we could hook it up to the sound system, and so we could watch digital movies off a DVD. And it was
Mhm.
the first time we had ever done it in a theater. And we jerry rigged the heck out of that. We had a regular ladder that we brought in.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yep.
we had a regular ladder that we put into the middle of the theater because his projector wasn't big enough to fill the whole screen from the booth. Or I'm sorry, wasn't a good enough lens that we could tighten it down to be just on the screen from the booth. So we had to cut the distance in half. Then on top of that, we had to open up the porthole glass and run the cables through from the DVD player, and it was a whole ordeal, and it took a long time. The first time we set it up, it took hours, and then like it's just like everything else. Once you figure it out, you're like, oh yeah, this is what we're gonna done.
Yep.
Okay. But yeah, so for weeks and weeks, we were showing like 2 episodes a week, and we were watching all these episodes of Firefly on the big screen, which was really awesome. Got a
Awesome.
whole lot of people at the theater excited about it that had never seen the show before, but all the people that like watched all of our employee sneaks at that point, and then like I know you came to one,
I
at
came,
least
I came a
one
couple of times. Yeah.
to watch a few episodes. We
Yep.
got into, I tried to get Mark into it at that point, and we were taking so long to set up that first night that Mark bounced out early and didn't stick around. Um, but yeah, man, it was an ordeal, and who knew? Like, what, like 3 years later, everybody had a digital projector that was running
Yep.
pre-show for them and
Yep.
in their auditoriums, and could have made this a whole lot easier. So.
Yep. That was a lot of fun. I know I didn't come every week. You had already gotten me into the show by that point, but the ones that I could come to, it was awesome to watch them on the big screen and get hyped up and ready for the movie, and to experience it with people that hadn't seen it before, so that like we could talk about it with them afterwards and whatnot. It was all the ones that I could make it to were a lot of fun. I really enjoyed you doing that. It was really cool.
And then I
All right,
remember
man. So,
we also
you,
like watched the movie with you for the first time.
yep,
That was the Wednesday night or Thursday night, whatever night we were watching that print.
yep,
It came out on a Friday, the 30th of September.
yep.
That night, my brother Michael was into the TV show, but he also had a 9 to 5, so he couldn't stay up as late as us. And so, literally, the next night on September 30th, I went back to my own theater and I bought 2 tickets, one for me and one for Mike, even though, and they were like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Nope, nope, I'm paying for this. I am willing to give my money to Universal and Joss Whedon for this, to hopefully maybe at some point in the future see a sequel, which we never did get. But I have no regrets about paying what, like $12 for 2 of us to go. I think it was,
Awesome.
yeah, I think we bought, or it was like $16, whatever. So, um, and I got to pull a Dave Mayer.
What was that?
So since I had seen the movie the night before, I knew what was happening before it happened.
Nice. Very cool.
So I got to position myself to look at Michael's face when things happened and see his reaction to it as it happened compared to me having to watch the screen. And yeah, so it was great. Good times.
So anybody who's listening to this podcast, most likely, I mean, if they're a brown coat, they'll know the difference between these, but they probably, if they know anything about the Serenity, you've mentioned the poster a couple of times. We're going to have a lot of stories about the poster down the road, but like they're probably used to like that blue one sheet that's got like Summer Glau and then like Nathan Fillion's really big face on it. Like that was the North American poster for the film. Do you prefer that one over the international poster? The international is much more like white, and then it's got her Summer Glau in like a pose with like weapons, and then like got more cast members like in the distance and whatnot. But like between the American release and the international one, which one do you prefer?
That's a tough call, man. Like
Is really? I
knowing what
don't like that international poster at all.
but like I think that it's the nostalgia factor for the North American one for me.
Okay.
Like it's the one I saw, it's the one I enjoy, that's the one I have
Yeah.
signed. Like it's
Yeah.
there's a whole lot of components to that. The other one, it's okay, but I also understand like from an international standpoint, you probably had less people overseas who had seen this compared to who knew what Firefly was. Excuse me. Compared to the United States, compared to the world. So you were probably trying to drum up the like action heroine kind of like vibe and feel
Okay.
that the international poster shows off. But yeah, I definitely dig the regular North American one better,
Yeah. I
personally.
totally agree with you. And it's also probably because I like the color blue. I don't know. I dig that poster a lot too. All right, let's do it. Let's get into the meat of what the purpose of this podcast is. You picked the movie Serenity for us to talk about. Let's start off with the writer and director of Serenity, which is Joss Whedon. Let's start with the directing aspect of it. Joss Whedon's directed a few films. Do you think that Serenity is the best film that he's directed?
No.
No? What do you think Joss Whedon's best film is?
I think his best film is probably Avengers.
The
The
first
fir-
one?
yeah, the first Avengers movie.
Nice.
And it's just yeah. And it felt like he was still finding his footing as a director with Serenity, and so he didn't have, I don't feel like he had like the chops
Serenity
yet.
is the first his first film he directed, isn't
Oh
it?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, his first film, and then I know
It's
he
still
did Much
kind
Ado
of,
About Nothing.
yeah, he did Much Ado About Nothing, and he did the second Avengers movie. But like there's not a whole lot that he directed um
Is Much
before
Ado About Nothing before or after the Avengers? I can't remember the placement of that one.
it's after Avengers 1.
Oh, okay, so it's between the two Avengers
Yeah.
movies. Okay, got it. Cool.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
I'm not
sure.
100% on that, but because one of the main characters in the or sorry, one of the main of characters in Much Ado About Nothing is
Clark Gregg.
a background character in the Avengers. She had
Oh,
a
okay.
small bit part that apparently was a bigger part at some point in time, and then they cut her down to
Oh,
um,
you talk about the chick that they're interviewing about like Captain America saving her or whatever.
well, no, because that's the girl from Growing Pains, right? Like,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's who that
but
is.
there's
Yeah, okay,
another, like, it's the same kind of thing, though.
okay,
Like, there's a point in time where they had a scene where something happened, and then it got on the cutting room floor.
got
But
it.
he liked her so much. Big surprise, right? I wonder what possibly could have happened that
Sure.
he had this small bit part for Avengers, and then all of a sudden she has a giant part in Much Ado About Nothing. I wonder what could have happened.
Well, yeah, and like a couple of people in Much Ado About Nothing are from Dollhouse, if I remember right.
Yeah, I mean, and you also have
Clark
Wesley from
Gregg.
Buffy.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
but yeah, you and a bunch of people from Angel and Dollhouse and
yeah.
a couple and I mean Nathan Fillion's in it, so it's
Yep,
he's Firefly, so he cross pollinates kind of like everybody else who does that kind of stuff.
sure.
So
So, and now let's shift over into screenwriting. I know a lot of the stuff that he's directed, he also wrote, but I mean, he did other stuff like Toy Story and Titan AE and Cabin in the Woods. Like, what do you think is the best thing that Joss Whedon has ever written?
Justice League by far.
Oh my God. Did he actually write? He wrote Justice League?
He rewrote a bunch of it. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
No,
Just joking here.
but
So
like legit, he like the one that Zack Snyder did?
yeah, when they did, because
Oh,
they had to they, if you remember, if you watch the Zack Schneider cut compared to the Joss Whedon version, Joss Whedon's version is the mashup between him and Snyder is very
oh, I remember this now. Yes, yes, yes.
juxtaposition because Snyder lost his daughter while making Justice League.
That's
Stepped back for a little bit and Warner Brothers was like, we can't step back, this is costing us too much money, so they ended up calling Joss Whedon and paying him probably a ton of money because of the fact that he made both Avengers movies, and then he started putting in all of his little jokes and stuff, and they recut the movie and remade the movie, and it's
I
nowhere.
totally forgot about that because that was my biggest complaint after we watched it in the theater was the fact that I felt like it was two different movies and you could tell which one of them did. Yeah, okay, I forgot all about that. That's right.
Yep.
So
But
anyway, what do you think legit is the best thing that Joss Whedon's ever written?
see, it's a really tough call for me.
Okay,
Um, I'd probably say Serenity is his best.
okay,
Um, I would say that I don't know how much he was the writer. I think the other one I would give him most credit for is Speed. Um,
okay. Oh,
And
because I
that's
do, yeah, Speed, Twister, and the very first X-Men film are all rumored that he was involved in the writing, but was not credited as being a writer on any of those three movies.
well, and he at one point in time, I he did the story for Atlantis, um,
Okay.
the Disney movie.
The Disney one, yeah. Michael J.
Um,
Fox.
but he also wrote Alien Resurrection, which was like
Yeah.
the prequel to Serenity, kind of, because it's like the
Oh,
exact
yeah.
it's basically like the exact same type of
Concept.
characters.
Okay.
Like the because that ship comes in and like the captain's the guy from The Crow, and then he's got a long-haired dreadlock badass African American who's like gun savvy, and then
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just and it's
Oh,
very
yeah.
much along those same lines. But I would say, as far as writing goes, Serenity by far is my favorite that he's done.
Oh, by
And
far,
then
you want to say by far over Titan AE? Because I really love Titan AE.
Titan AE is it's okay. It's a good
I
movie. Good
love Titan
movie.
AE.
It's a good movie, but it's not nearly. I wanted to like it more recently. I bought it digitally and was watching it recently, and I was like, this is not as good as I remember it being.
Oh,
Uh,
great. So now you're gonna make me go rewatch it, and you're probably gonna make me change my mind, and I'm gonna be like, Jason's right. Oh
dude, it's not that it's a bad movie. It's just not. I mean, you got you had so many good ones after it, or
my
around that time too, because you had like Iron Giant and all these other like
oh no, I
animated
mean
films
Titan
that
AE.
were. I'm just saying. So, Speed apparently at one point in time was written by whoever actually wrote it and Joss
Uh-huh.
Whedon, and he
Okay.
has a movie poster that somebody made and then found out they were legally obligated to not put Joss Whedon on it because of the contract that they had with the original screenwriter or something. But they
Yeah.
made a poster, and Joss Whedon actually owns that poster, and it says story or written by blah 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 and Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon.
And so I'd say that Speed is probably his second best as far
Okay.
as writing goes. And who knows how much of that he actually did compared to the other version. But I like it. His smart ass answers that he gives throughout all of his
Sure.
writing and creatives. Um, you kind of feel that all throughout Speed. And if
Absolutely.
so,
Like, yeah, once I heard that like he was somehow at some point involved in Speed, I remember going, that makes a lot of sense. I can definitely see that.
and and considering what happens to Jeff Daniels' character, I wouldn't be surprised
Oh,
if that was him too.
that was him for sure.
That's,
He's
that's what he
kind of
does.
notorious for things like that.
That's what he does. So yeah.
That's what he does. All right, man, let's look at the cast. Let's look at the cast of Serenity here. Obviously, the lead male character is played by Nathan Fillion. Do you believe that Serenity is the best acting Nathan Fillion has ever done?
No.
I don't even know. I don't even know. I guess you need to be my guinea pig on this. Do I need to ask if it's the best acting Nathan Fillion's ever done, or should I be like movie specifics? Like I know you're a big fan of like his TV, The Rookie, but like should my question here be is this his best film or his best acting work? Like I don't know where I should go with this.
I don't know, man. Like, what do you think about him being Cade Six? So, like, do you
Oh,
think
good call.
which one's better? Is it Serenity or is
Yeah,
it
that's true. He was definitely a very yeah, I mean, still is a large part of the Destiny video game series. Okay, is this Nathan Fillion's best film that he? You're right. I'm gonna have to make this about filmmaking. Is this Nathan Fillion's best film he's ever done? And remember, he was in Slither.
Yeah, yeah, he definitely was in Slither, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Um,
he was in
uh,
White Noise too.
oh, God, did you ever see that?
I did. It was terrible.
Yeah, the first one I thought was quite interesting and kind of a
Great.
cool little supernatural thriller
Yeah,
thing with Michael Keaton, right? That was
Michael
Keaton in
Keaton.
the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
one. And then yeah, he made that second one, and I was just like, what is going
Wait,
on?
Michael Kiefer or Kiefer Sutherland?
That was Michael Keaton.
Was it for some reason I thought it was Kiefer Sutherland like post 24.
Hmm. I can look it up for us in a second, but like
Yeah, right here,
Slither,
right here.
Slither
You
is
you think about Nathan Fillion real quick. I'll look it up.
yeah. I think I'm gonna have
Yep.
to go with
Michael Keaton. You're very right. Michael Keaton. My bad.
yeah. I think I'm definitely gonna have to go with um out of all of the movies that he's made, there's not a whole lot, honestly.
No.
He's definitely that's his best work.
White
As
Noise
an
was
actor.
2005. Hold on a second. I think Mirrors is the movie I was thinking of. Mirrors was in 2008 with Kiefer Sutherland. So it was 3 years later. Mirrors is what I was getting it confused with. Okay. Apologies for that side note. Yeah, Nathan Fillion doesn't have a whole lot of film credits to his name.
Nope. But he's still fantastic in the stuff that he chooses to do. And
Well, he was in Waitress. Don't you like Waitress?
Waitress was good, but I think
Okay.
his acting, uh, what's the word I want to use? He's very much like Joss Whedon and him work together very well because of their the silliness and their and being smartasses. So it works. So I would say Serenity's his best work, but I don't know if I still think that he probably has room to do better as an
Well, he was
actor.
also in, like we mentioned earlier, he was in Much Ado About Nothing that Joss Whedon did, but that movie is so unrememberable. Like, it's so forgettable. Like, I don't even remember
I
his
love the
performance.
I love the look of it.
Oh, sure.
He's not in it very much. Um, but yeah, I would definitely say best acting is Serenity. You get especially with like how he's how he's regular like Malcolm and
Sure.
for like the first half of the movie or first two-thirds of the movie. But like what I really like about that character is the fact that he is so his true north is always his true north. He does not
Right.
waver on that. Like,
Right.
and that's what I appreciate about the character of Malcolm Reynolds is like, yeah, like you might not agree with what he says, but it's his way or get off the boat. Like, it's just like, and he never wavers on that for the most part. And yeah, he'll take chances on people that he might not supposed maybe he shouldn't be taking chances on, but he also like holds true that if you're a part of his crew that like he'll do anything for you and it's just a pretty awesome concept and delivered expertly by Nathan Fillion. So
Absolutely. So like if I had to pick the lead female character in this movie, like I'm not sure if I would go with your Great White Buffalo, Gina Torres, or would you consider Summer Glau to be like the female lead of the movie? Like I don't know which way we should go with that discussion of topic.
um I'd probably say you're more leaning towards Summer Glau because she definitely has
Oh,
more of like she takes the command and most of the time it's always a background character and I
that
mean
makes
in a
sense.
very well everybody of the nine has their moments in the movie but I mean I
Sure.
with her being the main focal point of who's being chased and everything else I feel like Summer Glau is more so the is the main actress.
So can you name one other Summer Glau movie for me?
Oh man. Oh we the Badassadom. What was that bad movie we watched?
Oh, The Kingdom of Bad, or the Knights of
Night
Badassdom. Yes.
of
Thank you.
Badassadom.
Cool. Do you
So
think she was better in that than Serenity?
no, I do not think
No.
she was better
Yeah,
than
no,
that.
the movie was pretty terrible. Granted,
Uh
again, that's another one of those movies that supposedly we didn't get to see like the unrated, like the real cut. Because I mean, if you remember, that movie got delayed by like 4 years or something. Like they kept pushing it
yeah.
back and all kinds of stuff. supposedly the version that I think it was PG-13 when it came out. Like we didn't get to see like the actual R-rated like what they were planning to make with that movie. So I mean, but yeah, that movie was pretty disappointing. Um, but I say all of that, and it's not like Gina Torres has a huge resume that we could go over either. Like when I had to look her up, I didn't even remember she was in the two Matrix sequels. Granted, I try to forget that they ever happened, but like that's the only other like major things that are on her list that I even knew.
Yeah, and yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Besides, they do a lot of TV though. Like you got to give it to
They
them for
do
that. So,
absolutely. They both do a lot of TV work.
and I was gonna say,
Um,
I'm looking at the list of Summer Glau work right now.
okay.
She hasn't worked since 21.
Hmm.
Not only has she not worked since 21, but like, yeah, I didn't realize that the episode of Angel that she was in was the very first thing she ever was like cast in.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Um, she played a prima ballerina in one of the episodes of Angel. It was kind of cool though because it was so Angel being the vampire and being alive for however many years he's been alive. There was a ballerina company who came into Los Angeles while he was there, and they're performing, and he's watching it, and then he realizes something strange is happening because it's the exact same show that he saw like 100 years earlier, and
Oh wow.
they were like, oh yeah, so they perform they perform ballets all the time, and he was like, no, it's the exact same show. It's the
Hmm.
exact same like actors, everything's the exact same. And then you found out like it was some kind of like demon that kind of like trapped everybody in time and nobody
Hmm.
could age and they were all stuck to be a part of this ballet forever because it was such a great it was such a great performance or something that like this demon guy like locked them all into like this time capsule kind of thing.
Interesting.
Kind of a cool concept. But yeah,
Mhm.
looking it over, Summer Glau, she did some Christmas movies. Uh, besides that,
Oh,
besides that, nothing since 2021, man. So
I need to make sure next year I put all of her Christmas movies on my list.
yeah, so and then like you said, Gina Torres, Suits, 911, but mainly just
Television work.
very few other things. I think you what was that word? I think I Love My Wife with Chris Rock, so that was a movie that she was
Oh,
in.
okay.
Uh, but yeah.
Well, let's look at some of the supporting here. There's some decent supporting actors in this movie. We got Alan Tudyk, who everybody knows from what was it, the Wreck-It Ralph movie? That's the
Oh,
one that he
dude,
was in.
he did Wreck-It Ralph. He did Frozen.
Frozen, yeah.
He did Moana. He
He was in
basically
I,
does.
Robot.
Yeah, he did iRobot back in the day. But he basically does every Disney movie. Like
Okay, all
now,
right.
they find a voice for him to do every time. That
Adam Baldwin from Independence Day. Chiwetel Ejiofor from Love Actually. And Red Belt. I don't know if you've ever seen Red Belt, but Red Belt is amazing. The movie's
great movie.
phenomenal. David Krumholtz was in what's that movie I love from '99? 10 Things I Hate About You. And then he was in the Santa Claus and stuff like that. So and then oh that the girl that does all of the girl that does Sarah Paulson that does all of the American Horror Story seasons. She was very tiny 2 minute bit in this movie.
Yep.
Yeah, but of the entire supporting cast, like, you got anything special to say about any of them?
Well, I mean, they're all the crew of Serenity is awesome. So, like, we could talk about all of them. Alan Tudyk is funny. Um, you were there when I got to meet him and get his
Oh yeah,
autograph.
yeah.
And he I think I told the story the last time we were talking about something to do with Serenity or Alan Tudyk, but he did the King Candy voice from Wreck-It Ralph right in front of us to the kid who was in front of me in line to get an autograph. And it was really weird hearing that voice come out of a human being. And so that was kind of funny. And then when we were in the Q&A, I asked him what it was like, and I mean, you're breezing over Alan Tudyk here, but I mean, you think about all the movies he's been in:
Sure.
Dodgeball, Knight's Tale.
Exactly. You know,
I mean, like he in all the Disney films, but like
I promise I am going to rewatch Dodgeball, or not Dodgeball, A Knight's Tale this year. Because that is the movie that I get chastised the most for because I hate that movie. I cannot get over the fact that they included "We Will Rock You" in the opening sequence of a movie that takes place 400 years before that movie was released. And
like
again, it's not
long
so
time.
much just the song being there, but it's the interactive aspect of the people in the stands doing the beat to it. That's just like they 400 years before the song was released, they would not know that. Like it's not just that the song play. I don't know, but
So you don't
I
think people
promise.
could do stomp, stomp, clap, stomp, stomp, clap? You don't think that people could have done that 400 years ago?
Don't they sing the song too, though?
I don't remember them singing the song. I remember them stomping and clapping to it.
I don't know.
Um,
But again, that is the movie that everybody, when they hear that I don't like it, just chastises me for how much they love the movie. And don't get me wrong, like I love the whole cast. Like the cast of that movie is amazing. I just remember hating it, and so like, but I promise I will give it another watch this year, and I will see if my opinion changes.
well, I mean, you got to think with Alan Tudyk, you also had like Star Wars Rogue One. He did a voice on there.
Yep.
You got
K2SO.
yeah, K2SO, sorry. But like he did Maze Runner, he did one of those movies.
Really?
Um,
Okay.
yeah, and
I
then
like
like
those. I just don't remember him in them.
he had a very small part. I mean, he was on
Okay.
Justified, not that that's a movie, but he was in 42. He was in Abraham Lincoln, the Vampire Hunter. He was Transformers, Dark of the Moon. You got that one, and then
Okay.
he was Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which we loved.
We
Uh,
do.
that's a fantastic movie.
Once we saw the non-Russian version of it.
Absolutely. But I mean, look at the 310 to Yuma, Knocked Up, Death at a Funeral.
Who
Um,
was he in Knocked Up? I remember him in Death as a Funeral because he played the token white guy in the black version of Death at a Funeral.
yeah,
Or I do remember him in that. Who was he in Knocked Up? I
I
don't
don't know. It
remember.
just says Jack. I'm not sure who he
Huh.
was, but I'm looking at the IMDb. iRobot, like you mentioned, Dodgeball, Hearts in Atlantis, Knight's Tale, Wonder Boys, 28 Days. He was Steve the Pirate, or not the pirate, Steve the Pirate. That was him in
That's
Dodgeball.
Dodgeball.
But he played like the pirate 28 Days guy. He was a pirate in that too.
Really? I got it.
Yeah,
I
he
don't
did
remember that
that.
movie very well.
And then he was in Patch Adams as well. So like, I mean, looking over all of his acting, he was fantastic in Serenity. But it's probably not his best. I mean, like that's a big list to go through.
That
And
is.
then you
It
also,
definitely is.
and then you also, went right past Morena Baccarin, like who, here she is in Greenland. She's in all the Deadpool movies.
Oh yeah,
So you breezed right over her as well.
I
So
definitely did. Yeah, she probably, as far as the females go, probably has the biggest film career out of all of them.
yeah, definitely. Especially once she hit Deadpool, man, because like
Oh
that
yeah, for sure.
that and like I said, Greenland was awesome, and then she was in some movie. What was that? Was it Extinction? She was in some movie with Falcon. Uh,
Anthony Mackie.
yeah,
Okay.
where like she was a scientist, and they were having to live in the mountains because these aliens came out of the
Yeah,
ground. I think
I
we
don't
called
think I
them up
ever
from the
saw that, but I
depths.
vaguely remember this now.
Yeah, it was kind of like a quiet place somewhat because like you couldn't make any noise and you couldn't go under a certain elevation because like the elevation was what kept the demon or whatever it was away from them. So
I do vaguely remember that preview now. I don't think I ever saw it.
not that
And
good.
like I've never seen Greenland. I
Oh,
know we talked about it at Christmas, and the sequel's about to come out, but
Elevation was the name of the movie, and it wasn't called Extinction
Elevation.
because that
There we
makes a
go.
lot more sense than
It really does.
So, but
I
like you said, the other ones, David Krumholtz, like his bit in that movie is fantastic.
mhm.
Um, he doesn't have that big of a part, but I mean, like he just has a lot of fun with it. It looked like um, they killed me with a sword, Mal.
Sword, man.
Um,
A sword.
how weird is that?
And
Uh,
Chiwetel Ejiofor's character is so dope. The
it
operative,
is. Yeah, the
so
operative's
dope.
awesome. I wish we would have figured out more with the operative, or just
Agreed.
like the background of that, um, because I thought it was kind of cool, especially with the fact that Shepherd Book knew about them,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and it's like to know a little bit more about that background would be super helpful. Yeah, I don't know. Not that you need to know everybody's background.
Well,
So it
it's
was just,
cool.
what was that? Was that the first episode where he gets shot?
The where Book gets shot?
Yeah.
No, that's no. That's a while into the series.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
like I think Ariel is the name of that episode. I think
Oh
it's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because he gets
3 or 4
shot during
episodes
the,
in.
yeah, while they're robbing the
Yeah.
air. That's right. Yeah, that was pretty cool. So
All right. Anything else actor-wise you want to discuss?
no,
Cool. Then let me ask you, is there one scene or one shot from the movie that like sticks out the most in your head? Or, like when somebody just says the word Serenity, like what's the first thing that always comes to mind for you visually from the movie? A shot, a scene.
the scene in the shot or one in the shot is in the one scene that I think of the most.
Okay, and what's that?
It ends with "I aim to misbehave." So
Okay, nice.
the whole
Oh yeah.
monologue that he pitches at that point in time, where he talks about the truth that burned up River Thames' brain, and he's going into, you know, um, mark my words, they'll try this again, whether it's here or somewhere else. Um, and so, with that idea that like they can always make us better. And it's like, and so with it's kind of interesting because if you look into the writing or the opinion of Joss Whedon and how he's phrased things and said answers to certain questions that have popped up over the course of time before he got into all the trouble he's in. Um,
Mhm.
you could he's admitted he's an atheist, that
Okay.
he's also admitted that and he's more of a socialist as well. That's from his standpoint and like the way he believes things should be for people in the world. It's very interesting to me that somebody who thinks that way can write that monologue, because that monologue is about people taking care of themselves and wanting to be essentially like left alone, and just thinking from a perspective of self-preservation and self-care, and and like wanting to just be left alone to your own vices so that there was a point in time where uh Malcolm Reynolds went during in the TV. uh Oh crap, is that in the TV show or the movie? It's kind of blended together where he says might have been the losing side, but I'm not sure it's the wrong one, or I wasn't. I'm not. I think that's the TV show. And he's
Yeah,
like,
I'm pretty sure you're right.
yeah,
It's the TV show.
he's like, it might have been the losing side, but I'm not. It's not the right, or it wasn't the wrong one.
Was it the wrong one?
Yeah, and so it's something, and just that mentality that Malcolm has is just very. I don't know. It speaks to me from that kind of perspective.
Is that the second episode right before the bar fight breaks out?
No,
No?
no, I can't remember exactly when that.
Okay.
Not sure it was the losing side.
All
Or
right,
yeah,
doesn't matter. But going back to that scene that you're talking about, man, first of all, from the hero shot moment when they cut to that scene, like where it's at the back of the room, and then you just got Malcolm in the center with the halo of light behind him. and then it just kind of starts slow panning or slow pushing in on him. Like that shot is definitely a beautiful shot for them.
Yeah.
Um,
And
music. Go ahead.
here, this record here is about 12 years old. Parliament buried it and tried to stay, and it stayed buried until River here dug it up. This is what they were afraid she knew, and they were right to fear. There's a universe of folk who are going to know it too. Someone has to speak for these people. Y'all got on this boat for different reasons, but y'all came to the same place. So now I'm asking more of you than I have ever before. Maybe all or I'm asking more of you than I have before. Maybe all, sure as I know anything, I know this. They will try again, maybe on another world, maybe on this very ground swept clean. A year from now, 10, they'll swing back to the belief that they can make people better, and I do not hold to that. So no more running. I aim to misbehave. Yeah, it's just an awesome,
Great
awesome
hero moment.
monologue. So,
Absolutely. All right, man. So, like, music and movies go together. And kind of part of what I was hoping to do with this portion of the podcast was to be able to talk about soundtracks that are awesome and all the great music that are on them. And of course, Jason picks one that's just got a score that I can't talk about how awesome 90s music is or anything like that. But
well, you're screwed too, because like movies nowadays don't even make soundtracks.
I don't know. That's why I'm hoping that a lot of people pick movies from the 90s to talk about with me on this podcast. Granted, the people I know that I am speaking with as of now, there's not a lot of them that have picked 90s movies for us to talk about. Some have, but like my goal was like let's talk about how great these like you and I have always talked about how awesome movie soundtracks were in the 90s, and they just put together a whole bunch of awesome bands like up and coming bands or like a couple of like super popular bands, like whatever they could financially put that all together. And like, oh man, I just want to be like, oh, do you think this was the greatest song on the soundtrack, or was this song better than that song, or like how do we pick with all these great songs? But we can't do that, so let's just talk about David Newman's score instead. What's your favorite track from David Newman's score of the Serenity soundtrack?
Oh, my favorite track. It is.
Man,
Uh,
do you know why? Like, in doing my research for this episode, that's not the dude that did the music for 14 episodes of the TV show. Like,
no, no.
some other dude did the music, like the music that like from like the opening theme song and all that kind of stuff. Like, different dude did the movie, and like this dude that did the movie has an insane list. Like, he did Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bogus Journey, The Mighty Ducks, The Sandlot, Tommy Boy, Jingle All the Way. And this dude, David Newman, in 1999 alone, did four soundtracks. Never
Dang.
Been Kissed, Bowfinger, Broke Down Palace, and Galaxy Quest. He did all of those soundtracks in 99.
I would say that my from the movie, the main points that I would say my favorite point in the score is there's one called Serenity, and it's right when it's at the very beginning of the movie. It's when it's
Oh,
coming
okay.
in, like the ship's coming into orbit, and it's a heavy mandolin kind of sound to it.
Okay.
And when the buffer panel goes flying off. So,
Oh,
uh,
yeah. All right. Right on.
but yeah,
Um,
that's probably my favorite, closely followed by like Space Battle, and I also like
oh, cool.
which is when the whole when the whole battle starts up. And but I would say the other one that I really like is at the very end when they're like rebuilding Serenity and
Oh, okay.
um you so they're rebuilding it as well as like doing the memorial that they do. So um that's a really good moment too, soundtrack wise.
Right on. So I don't have a whole lot of trivia to go over with Serenity. This is the this and Back to the Future are the two things that I have probably bought the most amount of times on different media formats. Because at one point I owned the VHS of Serenity, the DVD of Serenity, and then I'm probably like one of the very few people on the planet that bought the HD DVD version of Serenity
Man, we
during
picked the
the.
wrong side on that battle.
You definitely picked the wrong side on that battle. For anyone who doesn't know what an HD DVD was, it would have been like 2006 ish. that Universal went to war against Sony trying to make HD DVD. It was Microsoft and Universal and some other people that did HD DVDs versus Sony's Blu-ray. And I want to say it lasted maybe about a year, maybe 2 years at most. And Blu-ray just completely won that battle, as you know, because 20 years later, you can still buy Blu-rays and HD DVDs you cannot.
It's
But
kind of
somewhere,
funny.
and I'm mad at myself. I meant to pull it out. It's in one of my boxes, but maybe I'll take a picture after we record the podcast and I can throw it up on screen right now of my HD DVD of Serenity. But I bought like the original DVD and then they came out with a collector's edition DVD and then like I bought it on Blu-ray and like I think I got two different versions on Blu-ray. I don't even like. It's probably like I said, Back to the Future. Every 5 years, they sell me on another version of that. I've got the 20th, the 25th, the 30th, the 35th, the 40th anniversary. This year was a 40. Yeah, so I bought another version of it this year for the 40th anniversary. But anyway. So, do you still own the HD DVD of Serenity?
I own the collector's edition of Serenity, the HD DVD version, and like I can't remember if I own a Blu-ray or if there's a collector's edition Blu-ray that I own. Oh no, I have the Steelbook. That's what it is.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, I don't know if I ever owned the VHS of it or not, because at that point in time when this came out, it definitely would have been on DVD at least.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's how it was
And I
released.
think my VHS, wherever it is, I think is one that I got from like Zach at VH1 Video or something like that. Like I don't, I don't necessarily
He would have
remember
been done with
buying
that
it.
by that point. VH1 video was gone by then.
Was it? Okay.
At least Zach wasn't working there.
Yeah, okay. I
Who
don't know.
knows?
At one point, I owned a VHS version of it.
Oh, I believe you.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So we hinted at this way back at the beginning, and this is like what I really am excited to talk to you about. As you mentioned, you and I both have Serenity posters. You have all nine signatures from the entire main crew, or from the entire crew of Firefly for Serenity. I have Nathan Fillion. I have um, Kaylee, Jewel State, and I have Alan Tudyk. So I have three. I'm one third of the way there. Was because Alan, or not sorry, Joss, Jesus, Nathan Fillion would have been my first signature that I got, which I got 1 week after you got your first signature, which is now the most impossible signature for anybody else to ever get on any form of media, because you started off with Ron Glass.
yeah,
That
that's
was
a
your first signature.
couple of weeks, like you said, before you got Fillion, and you got Fillion in Arizona.
Yep.
But we were going to the first PopCon. Was that the very first PopCon, I
I think
think?
it was the very first popcorn they had here in India.
And Ron Glass, who is from Evansville, Indiana, was there, and we got to it. It's kind of weird because I've told this story a lot. I even got to tell, um, I even got to tell,
Gina Torres.
excuse my dog. Yeah, I even got to tell Gina Torres about it. But we, um, yeah, we met Ron Glass. There was nobody in line to get his autograph. You and I walked up to him. He signed it. We were talking about everything. He sat there and talked to us for a good like 10 minutes or so. Like we just shot
Okay.
the poop. Um, and he was just a down to earth kind of guy. And then we went to his Q&A, and he almost seemed like he was embarrassed to get the applause that he was getting, that he was getting the recognition that he was getting. So he was but he was such a kind person. It was
Absolutely.
awesome to meet him. And yeah, he was just he signed, and then I don't even remember. Like that was, when did you go to
Oh,
Arizona?
yeah. Oh,
I was back here, so that's 11 or 12 at least.
yeah. I'm trying to remember because it was the year that I turned 30. It would have been 2013, 2014.
Okay. Okay.
I think it was 2013. I think it was 2013 because I went out there for 2 years in a row. for Phoenix Comic Con. I think it was the first year that I went, so it was probably 2013 because I went again in 2014 to celebrate my 34th birthday. So yeah, I think it was like 2013 that you would have gotten this would have started for both of us.
12 years to get 9 signatures. Like,
12 years ago. Well, that's because Gina Torres, your very last one, does not hardly ever. Did you? She canceled one of the other cons you were supposed to go to, right?
well, I was paying attention to her, and what Comic Con she was going to. And there were a couple that were drivable.
Mm-hmm.
There was one, I think, down in Atlanta that I chose not to go do. Um, that's an 8 hour drive. There was one in Houston at one point, and I was like, no, I can't do that. That's not going to make any sense. But she canceled on that one. Then the one that I really was considering going for was Philadelphia, and
Okay.
that's about an 8 hour drive as well. So it was, and that one I was like, money was super tight, so it would have, and we were busy that weekend as a family, so it was one of those moments of like I would have had to convince my wife to let me leave early on Saturday morning, find somebody else to help shuttle the kids around, drive straight there, get the signature, and drive straight back. And so, we luckily only had to do a 4 hour drive instead of an 8 hour drive to get this taken care of. But yeah, we got Gina Torres in October. So,
Yeah.
or was that
So let me
November?
see. Let's see. You and I both got Alan and Jewel at the same Indiana convention. I don't remember which one it was, but it was another one here in Indy. You got those. I was with you
Oh,
when you got
I'm
Nathan
sorry.
Fillion.
He was the first Comic Con. He was Indiana Comic Con. Ron
Oh,
Glass
okay.
was. They
Okay.
were the first PopCon because
PopCon.
it was the
Okay.
same year. It was the same year. We
Wow.
got like a ton of cons that came and yeah, so it was we went to the first Indiana Comic Con and he was there and
It
then
was
it was
Indiana
Nolan.
Comic Con.
Nolan.
They were the
Oh,
first PopCon.
yeah.
You went to Chicago. I was with you when you went to Chicago for Nathan Fillion.
Yep.
Yep. Where was
That was
Sean Mayer
also
was Cincinnati? Who
no, no,
was
no.
Cincinnati?
So when I got Nathan Fillion, I also got Summer Glau and Adam Baldwin. They were all there for that one.
Oh, nice. I didn't remember that.
And then
Oh, yeah. You were in line for Summer. I was in line with you for Summer Glau when I hopped over and did
Stephen Amell.
Stephen Amell, and he was a complete dick to me, and I have never liked him since that day. But yeah,
Yeah, this pretend feud that is one-sided only.
super
Like,
one-sided. He literally has no idea who I was, but he was a dick to me that day, and that stuck with me. And so yes, completely one-sided feud between Steven and Mel. I mean, I guess it's also like a 2 or 3 day feud because like he walked right past me at that party that we were at, but he
oh,
shook hands with you.
it was the same day. It was the same day because
It was the
remember
same day.
we were running late to the wine mixer because of the fact that Summer Glau was taking so long to get the autographs.
There we
And
go.
I
Okay, so it
had
was a
and I
same
had
thing
all
as the
the
same.
tickets. And I had all the tickets. So, um,
Who'd you go to
but
Cincinnati for?
Cincinnati was Sean Mayer and Morena Baccarin.
Okay.
So yeah. So is that how many
Is
is
that
that?
everybody?
So
One, two,
wrong
three,
class.
four, five, six, 7, 8, 9. Yep, that's everybody.
Yeah.
That's all.
It's the most expensive thing that hangs on my wall.
It's
Out-
so awesome that you did it, really.
Even more expensive than any television that hangs in my house. Uh, it is, and I have never bought a piece of artwork that would cost as much as what this has cost me. But I it's a cool conversation piece. It's one of those things though that kind of is I I like getting the personalization because I understand the purpose of it from a certain point of view, but
Sure.
it's also one of those things that like if my kids ever get into the point in time where they love this show as much as I did, like, and I end up gifting this to them,
Hmm.
it says to Jason on all 9 signatures.
All 9 signatures.
So, um, yeah, it's just a little weird, but whatever. So.
I don't think it's weird at all. I think it's awesome. You got nine members, the entire cast and crew of Serenity, to to write your name, not just their signature.
Yeah. So,
Is there any of the nine? And I know Gina was the final Great White Buffalo, but of the nine, is there any of the experiences that stand out the most for you that were the best of the nine of them? Like just your conversation with the person, like or like what you guys talked about or anything, like any of the nine stick out to you?
Ron Glass signing was pretty awesome. Like
Absolutely.
that was a totally different level of fandom and cool for him to be so nice and to take so much time. Everybody else it was a transaction. And I'm not demeaning what they did and I paid for it and everything else, but literally it was a huge line of people. Well, actually take that back. Jewel and Alan didn't have anybody in line that Sunday morning either. So
Mm,
so that was a quick in and out for each of them. But yeah, so it was one of those things where like with Ron at least we had time to sit and talk
we did.
and knock it off. And so I would say that was probably the best one. It was kind of cool though. I did pay for the VIP treatment in Chicago when we met Nathan, so I ended
Mm,
up getting a picture with him as well. So I got to take a picture with my captain. So
that's awesome.
so that's pretty dope. So
He refused to sign happy birthday to me. He refused to do any personalization. I even had my driver's license out and I said, "It's my birthday. Will you write happy birthday to me on this poster?" And he said, "No, I won't." And I said, "Okay."
another dick though, man. What's
Nah,
going
he was very kind about it. My story just made him sound like a dick. He wasn't a dick about it. He literally looked at me and said, "I'm not doing any personalizations." And I said, "Totally understand. Thank you,
on?
Captain."
Luckily, mine got personalized and it says to Jason. I'm not sure if you said that the line in Arizona was stupid though.
Yeah, it was insane.
So
It
yeah,
was yeah, I mean, for those that don't know, the Arizona Con is literally the number one cosplay con in the entire United States. More people cosplay at the Arizona the Phoenix or I don't know if it's Phoenix or Arizona. It's Phoenix Fan Fusion or something is what it's called now, but like Phoenix Comic Con is what it used to be. But it doesn't have as many attendees as San Diego Comic Con does, but the number of cosplayers that are there, it's known for their cosplay competition at the Phoenix Comic Con. So yeah, there's a lot of people there. It's very busy, and yeah, the line was stupid long, but yeah. So all right, man. As we close this down and wrap it up, because I have promised people we're not doing a 5 hour episode. I'm gonna try to keep these to about an hour. Gonna try to keep them on target and on focus. But let's just wrap this up with you telling me everything that you love about Serenity. What do you love about this movie, man?
um, it's whether or not you want to look at it from this perspective, they're a family and they take care of each other. Family's not blood. And there's people that I'm closer to than I am related to. So, and yourself definitely being one of them. And
Appreciate that.
it's just one of those things where doing the right thing isn't always the easy thing. And, and, you know, Malcolm has that in him. Like he's always going to do what's right, no matter if it's easy or not. And he's willing to die to make that happen. Um, it's proven in what he does in the very first episode of Firefly and at the very beginning of it, as well as all the way to the end of Serenity. Like he's always it's just ingrained in his DNA to always
Absolutely.
do what's right. And we don't have enough of that in our world. And maybe it is just the fictional aspect of like, well, nobody's like that true north. I think there are. I truly believe that there are, and I hope if push ever came to shove that I could be one of those people that will definitely hold up and do what's right. no matter what. So definitely
Absolutely,
try
man. That's very well said.
definitely try to instill that in my children as well. So
Have you shown your children any of the Firefly franchise yet? The
no,
show? No? Okay.
no. I think they would get into it a little bit. I think Chris loves things that are more realistic and or he likes slapstick or like historical stuff.
Okay.
It's got to be
Okay.
slapstick, stupid, funny. Like he loved The Mask. We just watched that for the first time a few weeks ago.
Nice.
Loved that movie. We watched it over Thanksgiving break, and he was
Awesome.
like, "This is so stupid," but he was laughing the entire time. So he wants something that's more true and realistic or slapstick funny. So
Gotcha.
who knows? Maybe that'll change in the future, and he'll actually sit down and watch that with me.
Very cool. But yeah, man, I appreciate your time tonight. I appreciate you doing this with me. And yeah, I fully support all that found family stuff that you talked about. It's why the Fast and the Furious franchise is so great, is because found family stuff is really hits home when it's about family. So I appreciate you being back on here, man. This was just like riding a bike again, getting to talk to you about movies.
You just ruined it. You just had to go ruin it. You just can't.
Nah, man, not at all, brother, not at all. So,
You
bro,
just can't let it
I,
dawn, can you? You just can't
I
let it dawn.
can't
So.
I can't. Found family stuff is just so good, and that is definitely what makes Firefly and Serenity as amazing as they are. So it's been a pleasure talking to you about the movie. I appreciate you kind of being my guinea pig and seeing how things flow with this new season 2 format. And I mean, I always love talking to you about movies, man. Like, so thank you again for your time. And yeah, it's New Year's Day. It's 2026.
Woo woo.
All right, brother. You have yourself a good night, and we will be back in like 2 weeks. I think I'm going to try to do these every 2 weeks. 26 guests over the course of 2026. But yeah, 52 weeks, one every 2 weeks. So yeah, be back in a couple of weeks and talk to another friend about another movie. So thank you very much for listening, and we are out.